Welcome to Two Side Outdoors, your hunting, camping, fishing, survival techniques, and everything outdoors. Enjoy the podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode. So today I got a special guest. He's one of our Yuma locals that he runs his own bait shop and basically makes all sorts of different lures. Let me go ahead and let him introduce himself.
Hey guys, my name's Carl Beach. My soft plastic bait company is called CNC Bait Co. The CNC stands for Carl and Chris. Chris is my son. We started this about 3 years ago. Started making baits about just over 3 years ago now.
That's pretty awesome. It's normally me. So I fish mainly like catfish and trout whenever. Because I'm actually from California, so
Okay.
out there is more
Different species
yeah,
fishing.
different species fish. There's more trout in a lot of the local lakes and catfish. There was a lot of bass and stuff, but it's just like I never really got the hang of bass fishing that much.
Oh, we can change that.
I'm kind of actually excited for that right there, though.
Right on. Well, I think you're starting with the right bait company. I will probably spoil you with these baits because they do tend to catch more bass than your major leading brands. That's some major smoke blowing right there, but if you talk to the locals and a lot of people cross country that are using these baits, you're going to find it to be pretty damn true. And I attribute that to a few different things. The design of the worm gives it great action. The materials I use give it a good consistency to where you can fish and fish and fish and catch multiple fish per worm. And one of the locals has caught a record 9 fish off of one single worm alone.
Oh, wow.
Before having to trade that worm out.
That's cool.
And then the attractants that I put in it. What I put in it, I think, is the major number one issue of why these baits catch so many fish is because of what I'm actually doing inside that chemical.
Oh no, yeah. If you put a certain additive to it or something like that,
Absolutely.
The scent that it gives off, fish smell that.
Absolutely, and I've been calling that my donkey sauce. Like if you go on my website,
I seen something
you'll
like
see
that. Yeah.
that send it with our special donkey sauce. So that's just a tribulation of different items that I'm putting in there to give it that smell.
Oh yeah, that's cool. So, what made you decide to come out with like a bait company?
I thought I could do it better. That's probably the number one answer I can say. Whether it was a worm or a flipping bait or a swim bait, I thought I could do it better. I got myself a mold and started experimenting with colors, scents, and everything else. And I think I've accomplished what I originally set out to do, and that was catch more fish. So after I started catching just tons of fish, I thought I could go somewhere with it. So I started actually marketing my worm, which is what I first started out with, was the worm. And then I think I had my tube bait, or maybe the tube bait was first that I designed. All of my drawings are up there on the wall right there.
Yeah.
I hand you my baits out, and I took them to a local machinist to have them made. And I still have probably 5 more baits right now that I need to get CNC'd out. But I have more baits to come still. It's not a one pony show. I've got, I think, 6 baits right now, or 5 baits, and I'm looking to add to that. But it's major capital.
Oh no, yeah. I still think this is pretty cool. It's just the whole operation of it. It's just, I'm always seeing guys on like TikTok and Instagram and stuff always post the different like color variations of baits and stuff, and it's just like, these are awesome.
I think one of the biggest things is I've never been real artistic. I've never been real original. I spent 25 years as a Harley mechanic with my own shop, and I could fix anything, but I was never good at inventing things. With making baits, I've got a whole shelf of colors over there, and I don't think I have a single bait that is just one color in it.
Yeah.
All of them are at least 1 or 2 colors in it. So I get to mix and create, and I've never been able to do that before. So, I come out with these colors, I go out and test them. If they catch fish, I market them. I've definitely had colors that didn't produce as well as others that I put on the shelf and didn't, just never marketed to anybody. And that's part of the trial and error of the business.
Oh no, yeah.
You're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes, and what you do is you get back on that horse and you ride it again.
Get up, get up, and keep going.
Yes, sir.
Basically, I know it's like lately, out of the few times, most of the times that I go out, sometimes I'll catch something, at least like a bluegill or something like that, if I'm catching bait for catfish.
Right.
Anytime I go out with my wife, she tends to not catch anything.
You got to put her on the right bait.
And that's the thing. It's like sometimes we'll go out using stink bait for some channel cats.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
She doesn't get bit.
Nothing.
Oh, wow. And you do. Have you ever let her pull one of yours in?
Not yet.
I did that with my son with a 42-pounder catfish. And I had already caught, I think, a 46 that night and another small one, I think under 10 pounds. And I hooked into another big one. And I think he was 13 at the time. And I let him reel that thing in. And, you know, he was instantly hooked. But he was the same way. He could never get a catfish on the line when we'd go catfishing. We've got a good hole that produces some big fish, and he knows they're there. Other people know, too, those are the problem.
No, yeah.
There's no secret holes here in town.
No, that's one thing that, like, I've been told is like, yeah, some people have their little honey holes and stuff, and then there's others that everyone fishes that spot and knows that spot.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, a lot of people don't want to give up their places where they catch fish, and boy, I see it. You know, I'm teaching people to fish. I'm putting people on fish. This whole river's loaded.
Yeah.
There's no secret spots anymore. You know, somebody always knows the same spot as you do. So why not help one another? You know, that's what I love.
It's like if you know that spot, why not just give them some tips for that spot?
Right,
really.
you could. But that's what I love about being in the position where I'm at, is because I'm putting people on fish. I can tell them where to go. I can tell them how to fish it, and then go out there and actually do it now. You know, you can tell anybody to put a lure in the water and reel your handle in, but at the same time, you're not telling them the technique, how to do it, proper water temperatures. I have no problem teaching people what I know. And I've taught a lot of people around here to catch fish like I do, and it makes me feel good. I give out a lot of free baits. I'm trying to put people on fish, get their children out fishing, because that's really where the future is.
With like the little goodie bag that you gave me, so it's like that right there. I'm gonna be able to tell people once I catch some fish off those, this stuff works.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Get your name out there more.
And that's why I love giving baits away, because it doesn't cost much to make a bag of baits. I do make profit on it, of course, because that's why I'm in business. But it's all about teaching people to fish, putting them on fish, and like you said, you're going to go out, you're going to catch fish on these baits, you're going to post the pictures up, and people are going to see it.
Yeah.
That's marketing for me.
Exactly.
I love it.
And that's one thing that I like to do. It's like, I know with the other guys that I've been doing some podcasts with, they're all part of that 928 Flathead Boys.
Oh, okay.
Group.
Yeah, Joseph Lugo's group.
Yep, Joseph Lugo's group. And then he's also like a tackle dealer as well.
Right.
For Whisker Seeker.
Nice.
And so it's like, well, I'm helping him out by getting some more people there.
Exactly right. So right, I think that's something me and Joseph could get together on, and see how we could work together and boost us both up. Mm-hmm. Joseph's a good guy from my understanding. I don't know that we've ever met, but I'm on his 928 page too, and I know we're friends on Facebook. So
no, he's real cool guy.
Yeah, we should get together.
He's helping me out. Lots of tips and stuff on how to get these flathead catfish, and it was probably maybe about a month ago that I got my first.
Nice.
And
nice.
a little 8-pounder. So nice.
I didn't weigh mine yesterday, but fishing the ball drop for him, I caught that catfish, and I think I said on the video it was 8 pounds, but he was somewhere between 8 and 12, I think. It was a pretty good fish.
It was a pretty good sized fish, yeah.
Absolutely. I thought I had a donkey bass on there for a minute.
Oh, that was like my nephew on Saturday. We had went and did the Yuma river float thing, and we were right there just on one of the sandbars, just pulling out bluegills left and right.
Nice.
Because we take our poles with us when we float.
My last float trip I did too.
And we were pulling out bluegills left and right, and then he put a couple pieces of corn on there, tossed it out, and he had a pretty good sized carp on there.
Oh, I
put
bet.
up a good fight, but once he got it within like probably a couple feet of him, thing broke off.
Snapped.
Didn't snap actually. The hook came out or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking for
Yeah,
him.
no, he was just like, oh.
Nice. Well, I love taking the kids fishing. I have 2 grandchildren that go just about every weekend with me, and they're the future of this company. They know when they grow up, this will be in their hands. It's partially what I created it for, something to hand down to my family. And they're at this point 5 and 7 years old. They've been involved for the last 3 years since I've started.
Oh, that's cool.
Every portion from the manufacturing to the packaging to even designing. Both grandkids have created their own color swim baits, which are hanging on the wall over there, and proceeds from their sales go into a savings account for them.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'm hoping that by the time they're 18, I'll really have a legacy to hand to them.
No, yeah, that's pretty cool that you let them put their little hands in it and
Anything that's not dangerous.
No, yeah.
You can see these little gloves right there in front of you, the tan ones. We just got those for my grandson, and I just got some stone molds and a miniature shooting gun, and I started teaching him this last week in the actual art of shooting into the molds. So he's hands-on with the dangerous part of it now. You know, that chemical comes out of there at 350 degrees
no, yeah, 'cause
at a
you gotta
minimum.
heat that up pretty hot, yeah.
Yes, sir. It's a minimum 350 degrees, and he's shooting it now. He just created his own bag of baits, which is hanging on the wall over there, which I'll show you in a minute.
Okay.
But he shot all those baits himself this weekend. So 7 years old, he's making baits already and designing baits.
That's awesome. That's cool. So, like, I guess, how long have you been fishing? Since you can remember, basically. Since you were a kid?
Since I was a kid, definitely. There's a picture of me when I was about 3 or 4 years old, identical to that one there, holding up a string of bluegill. That same day, I wound up walking into a tick's nest and in the middle of the woods with my parents and wound up in the emergency room. But I can remember catching a whole stringer full of bluegill that we took home. And then the first time I took my 4-year-old son fishing out on the boat, that was his catch for the day, and we took the same picture.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've been fishing my whole life. My mom was my fishing partner growing up. Hi, Mom. She took me out on the river all the time. When I'd go spend the weekends with her, we'd go camp along the Shenandoah or the James River, and we'd spend a weekend or a week out there at times. We'd go to town and pick up just basic essentials like eggs and milk and live off the land.
No, yeah.
You know, so she was my fishing partner. My dad and I fished too, but she was my main partner growing up, and I'm getting ready to get her out here and teach her our ways of fishing out here now.
You know, where are you from, actually?
I'm from Manassas, Virginia, just right outside of Washington, D.C., actually. So the Shenandoah was my main river back there, and then back up was the James River.
That's cool.
Yeah, different waters there, too.
Different style of fishing, though, too.
Absolutely. You got deep water, and then you got a shallow river. And it's, out on that Shenandoah, I remember the guy that taught me to fish that river taught me a term, 2 cripple crumps and a crank, which was a technique he used for casting out a broken back Rapala. He'd throw the lure out there, he'd let it sit, and then he'd twitch it twice. He'd reel it in, twitch it again, and reel it in. And he called it 2 cripple crumps and a crank. And I've used that term for 45 years now.
That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I teach people to fish, and I say 2 cripple crumps and a crank, they're like, what are you talking about?
No, see, it's like, for me out there in California, it was totally different. No, you're good. Totally different, just because the way the fish are out there, I could throw sometimes just like a tiny little piece of worm for like a bluegill or something like that, and pull it out left and right.
Right.
Here, I'm using worm, I'm using corn, I'm using bread, all sorts of different things, and some of it they're not even taking it.
Right.
My nephew the other day, he pulled one out just on the swivel.
I have been told that if you can catch bass successfully here in Arizona, you can go anywhere in the country and catch bass. I don't know why it's a tougher state of fishing here, but I think the rewards are higher than other states. I'm on all sorts of forums and sites across the country, and we've got what I consider one of the best fisheries around, and I think Arizona is extremely underrated in that factor.
Oh, I hear that a lot lately.
You hear California, Texas, Florida for the big fish states. You don't hear about Arizona, but how many 10-pounders come out of this water every year? We get a lot of 10-pounders. I've heard
quite a few.
there's quite a few. Well, we get a good amount of 10-pounders coming out, and then you get a lot of 8+s too. You've got guys out here on this river that are just slaying big bass.
Yeah.
Absolutely slaying them. And they've got their techniques down.
Yeah.
So
it's like one of the other guys that's here in town. I don't know if you've seen him on the Yuma Fishing Forum. Bass Bowl.
Yeah. He was just here. We just fished together last week, actually.
Oh yeah, and I've seen that too.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a good dude. He's catching them all over.
A box full of nothing but all the plastics that I had bought from, what was it, like Mystery Tackle Box or something online. They sell like a bulk box of stuff. and I sold it to him for like $10. I was like,
Nice.
I don't need it anymore.
Nice. Well, I have found that since I started making baits, I stopped buying tackle. I haven't
mainly
shown you my
just hooks.
tackle collection here yet. It's all behind closed doors and whatnot. But I stopped using all that stuff when I started catching on my baits. So I've saved myself a ton of money by not buying all of this stuff anymore and concentrating on putting more fish in the boat using my own.
Yeah.
And I've saved a lot of money in that factor. But I've met people that tell me now all they fish with is my baits because they know they're going to catch a fish.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a great feeling. There's been some very generous people in this town that have thrown me up on the forum, posting me in certain actions. And the biggest thing is I'm wanting people to learn to catch fish and teach their kids. You know, there's a lot of things in this town. There's a lot of great things for these children. I really do believe getting them outdoors is going to solve a lot of the issues that are going on.
Oh no, I believe that too, because like kids nowadays, they're all glued to their phones most of the time.
They are. And
it's like once you get them outside and you let them learn like that, outside wise,
absolutely,
they learn those life lessons for whatever they're doing, and they keep that for the rest of their life.
Right. You know, I'm from the South. Maybe things are a little different there. Maybe it was a different time generation growing up.
I think that too. Yeah.
I think that too. But you know, people talk to me a little different because I'm from the South, and I try to treat other people different too. And a lot of them comment about that. It's my upbringing. You know, part of that was my mom keeping me in the outdoors, keeping me natural. You know, live off the land.
Yeah.
Pack out what you pack in. That whole concept of life is still with me. And then, you know, you add the United States Marine Corps on top of that. I mean, my values are up there, and I'm looking to spread those values.
Yeah. No. Well said. So besides your brand, is there any other brands that you would recommend?
Well, for quite a few years, I fished the Yamamoto brand worms. It's a great bait. There's nothing wrong with that bait there.
No, yeah.
But I thought I could make it better, and I think I have. You know, there's more fish per bait that lasts longer and doesn't rip as easily.
Well, what about like some hook brands or anything like that you would recommend?
I use the Owner brand. All of my baits have an Owner hook to go with them. I'm an Owner dealer, so I do carry those hooks on site here in the barn and offer them on my website. But you know, you'll see a Trocar hanging up, you'll see a Gamakatsu hanging up. Owner is my personal #1 brand now. I do have certain baits where I stick to, like the Spro popping frogs. I'm religious about those. There's a Spro right there that's no longer made. That frog is no longer made anymore. So I keep collections. I collect fishing baits. But yeah, I love my Spro frogs. I love my Seaguar line, and my Luz reels. So those are pretty much the brands I stick to.
Luz is pretty good.
Yeah, I've got 21 of the darn things. I hope so.
Let's see, what else? Do you do a lot of whoa, you're good. There we go. You like doing like CPR or catch and keep for some things?
I'm about 95% catch and release. I let that catfish go yesterday. I do like keeping certain size catfish. I've caught big ones and kept them. I've caught little ones and kept them. Those are in the past. The big breeders I want to put back in the water now.
Oh yeah, that's a definite for me too.
You know, I'm guilty of catching and keeping a couple big ones, couple 40s and 50, but now I'm pretty much releasing those. You know, I'd love to keep a 6 to 8 pounder to make a taco out of here and there, and the rest can go back in. As far as my bass goes, yeah, they're all catch and release. If I catch one and pull the intestines out and he's not going to make it, you know.
No, yeah, the ones that swallow the whole thing.
Yeah, when you get the ones that aren't going to make it, you do the better thing and you just fry them up.
Makes sense. Your favorite species to catch?
Smallmouth.
Smallmouth?
Absolutely. I think they put up a better fight. I wish we had better waters for them here in Yuma.
I see a lot of people catching them on like the canals.
The canals are great for them. The river, my biggest smallmouth out of the river was a 4.5 pounder. That was the last year I fished the Rod and Gun Club, and I put them up as my board fish. Left them up all year long, a 4.5 pound smallmouth. Previous years before I had 3 8.5s actually, but I wanted to keep that smallmouth up there because it's just not many are caught here. Not many big ones like that. So yeah, the smallmouth's definitely a favorite species to fish.
That's cool. You have a crazy fishing story?
To have a crazy fishing story.
Something that like put up a crazy fight and had you doing something, or
maybe a couple stories when I lived in Lake Havasu. When I had a Nitro TF 160 when I lived up there, Rick Clun edition, and I used to go out fishing for the day, and when the fishing was not that good, we'd go to the channel and hang out all day. And if you're familiar with Lake Havasu and hanging out in the channel, it was just flat out debauchery back then.
I hear stories from now. It's like it still gets kind of crazy.
It does get crazy, but they put a big slap down on it when I lived there about the girls exposing themselves and fining them and making them register as sex offenders and all that. And I think that's above and beyond, but you know, they got to keep it clean, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some crazy stories that I'm not going to get into on a microphone here.
Well, I mean, more crazy stories like, say, fishing wise. Yeah.
I would probably say that the 12-2 that I caught years ago out of a float tube right below Laguna Dam.
Oh, wow.
My buddy and I were out there fishing, and I was in my float tube with kickers on, and he was in my little blow-up raft. And it was probably about 3/4 of a mile below Laguna Dam on the Cali side. I flipped into an odd-shaped brush pile, basically, that was right on the edge. It looked like the water had made a wave out of the tulies when the water
like
was
curved
higher.
it a certain way.
Exactly. So I flipped in the bottom of that with a pegged chartreuse zipper worm. And I thought I had a stump. I thought I caught a stump. And river's flowing pretty good, and I'm starting to move past it as much as I'm trying to stay with it so I didn't snap my line. Well, as I moved directly below it, my line moved out from the edge of the bank, and that thing started pulling.
Oh, man.
It pulled me upriver for probably 30 minutes in my float tube. 30 minutes. And when he surfaced and I saw the mouth on this fish, I just screamed. It could have swallowed a basketball. It was a 12.2 pound largemouth. We registered it at Mitch's. We took it to the old man that used to own the bar in Bard. There used to be a bar on that side. We used to call him Skeeter. So we took it in there. He says, "You might have a state record there," which I didn't know at the time what the state record was, and it did not register. But it was in the top 10 of the state that year, back in '97, I think. And it was a 12.2 pound largemouth bass. That's probably my craziest story fishing, because I didn't believe it was a bass at first, and the way that thing pulled me upriver in that current was just unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely unbelievable. It was a monster fish, and I remember the rod and reel I caught that on. It was a Bill Dance Quantum combo that's still sitting in that corner right there, and I still keep that rod and reel on hand.
And say, actually, I just got one of those recently from a buddy of mine.
Yeah?
It was one of those Bill Dance baitcaster.
Nice. I still
Quantum
have
combo, yeah.
I still have a couple of them from back in the day. Those classic $50 combos were quite a good deal back then. Now they just don't put out the same quality for the price anymore.
Yeah, for me, my craziest, I don't know if you can see a little scar that's right there on my knee.
Yep.
Channel cat. Right
Poked
through the
you
knee. Yep.
Poked you?
Yeah.
No way.
I was up in California on Lake Isabella, and I had swam across this cove area where we were hanging out for the day. Swam across, had my line and everything I swam across with my reel and everything, and got out there. Thank you. And put a little thing. I think I had a nightcrawler on there. Casted it out, caught something, brought it up. All the excitement, adrenaline, and everything. Catching a fish, holding it up. My line snapped as I was holding it, and the fish went.
No. Right out the other side of your knee?
So it went through my swim shorts that I had on, through my knee, and out my shorts again.
No.
Yeah.
Did you yank it out, or did you cut it?
Oh, I couldn't pull it out. It was
'cause of the barbs?
Yeah, because of the barbs. So then luckily there happened to be another guy that was coming by on a float tube in the same little area. And like my whole family are seeing it, and I have the fish sitting there flopping on my knee.
Blood pouring out. Nice.
And this guy comes over, he hands me his pliers, and cut it off, and I pulled it through.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Wow. That makes the grass grow, brother.
But yeah, a little scar there from a catfish.
Nice. That's crazy, though. Well, I caught a bass about 2 summers ago. My wife and I were camping out at Senator's Wash, and I'm in the water somewhere between waist and chest deep, and I'm throwing back at the bank line with a Spro popping frog. And had one blow up on it, and I reeled it in. And he still had a metal stringer hanging out of his mouth, a rusty stringer hanging out of his mouth. I took a picture of it, threw it up on my Instagram.
Escaped someone.
Yeah, well, I pulled the frog out of his mouth first, and then I took a couple pictures of everything. But I pulled the frog out, and then I took took that those clip-on stringers, the metal ones. That poor guy. What I think happened was somebody left it on a stringer and forgot about it, because the end of the chain was just rusted to pieces. So that guy got a second chance at life.
Oh, actually, I got to tell you about something that just happened on Saturday. So we had brought one of those baskets and stuff that you can put your fish in.
Yeah.
And while keep them live so we did that while we were floating. And we had it strapped on to my nephew's float tube that he brought. Not like the regular inflatable. It was a float tube.
Right.
He had his little flippers and everything. Or no, my dad had the flippers. He didn't have flippers, but the Velcro came off at one point. So there's a bluegill on the river right now somewhere that's inside that little thing.
Oh, poor guy. Uh-oh. Somebody will see him and set it free. He's still in the minnow tank?
Yeah, he's still in that thing.
Somebody will find it. They'll let him go.
Well, we were all bummed out about that.
There's always good fish stories. That's part of making memories, and that's to me why it's so important to get the children out there fishing. Make memories with them. You know, I'm a parent and a grandparent, and my kids were raised fishing, and my grandkids, they love the outdoors. They love fishing. They love being out in the water, and Yuma's a good place to do that.
Let's see, that's one thing. So I've been here probably about 9 months now. Just recently moved out here.
Wow.
And so far, I love it just because of the fishing, really.
That's what brought me back. I was stationed here in 94 to 98. The wife and family and I moved to Havasu, then to Phoenix, and then we had grandchildren, and the grandchildren were here in Yuma, and the grandchildren was the number one reason brought me back here. But if it wasn't for the fishing, I would never move back. Fishing is what essentially brought me back here.
Oh yeah, it's like for us, my father-in-law, he lives out here, and we'd come out here once a year to just do the float, basically. Oh, you're good if you do it on.
Cracking a crush.
Sometimes it's like I'll sit there and I'll do the same thing. It's just go like this and you just hear it.
Nice.
Just to hear it.
It's not beer.
Nope, not beer.
That's all I drink is Orange Crush and Orange Powerade. Gotta have it.
Oh yeah, orange soda's pretty good.
There's one of those koozies in that bag for you there.
So yeah, let's check that out. Awesome. But yeah, it's like we would come out here every year just to do the float, and each time I'd buy my fishing license and bring a pole and basically fish while we float.
While we're there, you can purchase my baits at Arizona Game and Fish right down the road, correct?
I think I seen those one of the last times that I went, because normally I just buy it online, but...
Absolutely. I have, you can purchase my baits on my website.
I seen they're on Facebook Marketplace and everything as well.
I've got a small store on Marketplace. I need to add the rest of my baits to it, but Facebook's been a pain to deal with. You can purchase the baits here at the barn. Just call for an appointment. I used to be open nonstop, but because of my work schedule, it's limited hours now. You can purchase them at Fortuna Hills Liquor right around the corner from here. You can purchase them at Arizona Game and Fish. If you're in Kentucky, you can purchase them at Kurt Singer's Sports Outfitters right there in Danville. I love that store. It's one of the best sporting goods store I've ever been in. So if you're in Kentucky, stop and check them out.
Oh, nice.
And they may be empty on inventory right now, but you can typically buy these baits right there at the gas shack at Fisher's Landing too.
Okay. Let's say I've actually never gone up that way yet. I've only stayed mainly in town, and probably the farthest north I've gone is Imperial Dam.
Are you bank beating?
Yeah.
You have a boat?
Oh, I got a kayak though.
Guess I'm gonna have to take you out on the boat.
Probably.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah, I can get you out there in my little G3. I launched from Fisher's. I launched Mitri. I launched Betty's Kitchen. Betty's Kitchen has been absolutely great lately. So,
Yeah, I gotta check that out. I've been wanting to take the kayak out and do some fishing on that.
We'll make a date and I'll take you out on the boat, and then you can go out there with your kayak and go whatever direction you want. How's that?
That sounds good.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
I love taking people fishing. That's part of what I like doing with this job, man. Because, like, you know, it's almost like you're getting paid to fish in a sense, because you're making baits, you're selling baits, you make a profit from that. You
Oh,
know?
no, yeah.
And then, you know, I picked up the owner endorsement to sell and carry their hooks here, so, you know, there's profit in that. And plus, I wanted to make it like a one-stop shop and get your hooks and your bait here. The next thing on my list is line. And then,
What kind of line do you prefer, mono or like braid?
I use fluoro most of the time. I definitely use fluoro on my worms, my jerk baits, but on my 5-inch swim bait, the Little Center swim bait, I use 80-pound braid because I skip that. My skipping pole, I use 80-pound J braid, Daiwa J braid. For my flipping setup, I use 50-pound Daiwa J braid, and then for my frogging, I use 30-pound Daiwa J braid.
Oh, nice.
Seagar is the fluoro that I use, and I use 15-pound Red Label or Abrasion X. So those are the brands that I use and I endorse. I fully believe in endorsing what you believe in.
Oh, yeah.
So I believe in my lures, I believe in my Seagar, I believe in my baits. There's no doubt about that. You have to be confident in what you're using, and you will catch more fish.
Oh, I believe that too. It's like lately, with me using the Whisker Seeker tackle that Lugo provides. So far, I haven't had no issues with that stuff.
Yeah, I need to get a new catfish set up, so I'm gonna have to go see him. I got a great reel. I've got a what is that? An Akuma Trio bait runner, and I've got it on my dad's old Daiwa surf rod actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just brought that back from Kentucky when he passed away. It needed a little work, so Mike from Ironwood Custom Rods.
I've heard about it. I wanted to do something with him. I haven't asked him yet.
Definitely. Mike's a great guy. We've fished together in my boat a bunch of times, and he fixed the eyelets on a couple Taipans for me, and then he fixed that crack in my dad's Daiwa rod.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Mike's a great guy. Hell of a guy. Look him up.
Yeah, I follow him on Facebook. Yeah. I asked him a few questions because I got a rod that's missing an eyelet near the top. Yeah.
Yeah, he can definitely fix that. Because he hooked my Taipans up.
That's cool. But yeah, that's really all the questions I got for you. And it's like, really, we
Right
can just
on.
sit here and just talk, really.
We can. Let me show you my tackle. You see all this down here? This is all filled. These boxes down here are all filled up. Take this off a second.
No, yeah, no
This
worries.
is all the tackle I used to have on my boat.
Oh, wow.
That's all tackle. So, I have a little bit of tackle.
That's all different, like top water and hooks and stuff.
All the trays there are labeled.
Mhm.
There's 20, 25 trays there.
Yeah.
A couple bins. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do this winter. Maybe you can be a part of this. I've done this a couple winters with zero success. I try giving tackle away to kids. One year through a local shop, I had a deal with give your kid this picture. All they had to do was color it,
Yeah.
and they get free tackle. It was this Christmas thing. This year, I'm going to build 5 full tackle trays and give them away to kids for Christmas that don't have tackle.
Yeah.
How to do this, I'm not sure yet, because one, I'm going to make sure they don't have fishing tackle,
Yeah.
and that they are a needy child. You know, and I can probably provide fishing pole too, or get those donated.
Yeah, yeah.
But I need to figure out a way to do this.
And say, I could donate 2 poles. I got 2 little Zebcos that I have that
Right on.
I picked up from a customer of mine.
Right on.
I work in pest control. I asked them questions about their poles, and they're like, "Well, do you want them? We don't use them anymore." So I was like, "Sure."
Yeah, if
And
you
I've
want to
been
throw down on that, that'd be great.
Give them away just because I don't use them.
Right on. Maybe Mr. Lugo would like to get in.
Maybe we can ask them.
Absolutely. Put a little Christmas package together for these local children through local bait makers.
Yeah. I like that idea.
Bait makers, tackle supply. Yeah, just those silicals. I do know of a couple other bait makers. Maybe we can get them in on it too. Just make a.
Yeah.
I can easily probably make 50 trays with all this tackle to give away.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just keep it simple and how to do it. Contest, drawing, or just
Something.
giveaway. Something. Yeah,
Something.
absolutely. What kind of gear do you use? Are you brand particular?
Not really. I'm just Walmart stuff.
Yeah.
Picked up a Shimano caster the other day, one of those ugly stick ones.
Oh, yeah?
What else? It's another Shimano custom. I think that's all it's called, just custom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of my main ones that I use for catfish.
I've given away, in the last 2 years, probably 20 rod and reel setups. I like, tackle gets donated to me all the time because I'm in the business. When I was in the Harley business, people used to say, hey, come get these Harley parts out of my garage. And I'd say, okay, and I'd come grab them. And they accumulate.
Yeah.
So I've accumulated all this damn tackle you see in here, and I'm not going to use most of it. So I might as well do something with it to benefit somebody else. So, yeah, I like the idea of giving away to children this year. And I think my 2 grandchildren alone probably have 13 rods between them. Some of these rods, because I take them every year to the kids deal out at Lake Matry, the kids clinic, and they're 5 and 7 now. They're using, my granddaughter, the 5-year-old, is using an open face reel, and my grandson's using a bait caster at 7 already.
Yeah.
So they don't use the little Zebcos anymore unless we go pan fishing. So I could probably scrap up a few more brand new rods like those push button Zebcos, and we can just outfit these kids.
No, yeah.
So you guys listen, if you have a child in need of tackle, contact us. Get a hold of one of us. You never know what we can pull.
That sounds like a pretty good idea there.
I got plenty,
Yeah.
I really do. I got so much damn tackle in here. Like some of these boxes down here are it's brand new shit. A lot of this is brand new. I don't know if I'd trust that line anymore.
But yeah, you got a lot.
Tackle trays.
Yeah.
I could outfit a whole elementary school right now, literally. And this goes back to the wall. I'm never going to use it.
No, that sounds like a pretty good idea. Just like you said, Christmas gift things or Christmas giveaway.
Uh-huh. Oh, shit.
What you got there?
This has got my website on it. I don't know if I should plug that or not. So the official website for CNC Bait Co. is www.ccbaitcomerch.company.site. And my number is 928-373-8130. You can Google me. I am a registered business on Google with a full address. Just make an appointment to come see me at the barn and stop in and grab your supplies.
That was a perfect plug there.
Thank you.
Now, yeah, you come up
This
when you
has been fun.
Google search you, comes right up right there at the top.
Yeah,
First
and
thing.
I think I have 14 5-star reviews right now. That's unbelievable.
That's pretty cool.
So that'll give you a map, that'll give you a phone number, that'll give you some pictures and information. When I'm open, I typically keep my A-frame sign out on the road like you saw this morning.
Yeah.
So, because I am in a residential neighborhood, but I am a registered business, I pay taxes and everything else. Too many taxes. Where they really get me is the federal excise tax because I'm a manufacturer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, quarterly check I have to send out. It's bullshit. So that's why you do cash sales.
Whoa.
Too close
Careful
to
there.
the mic, so put it over here. Did you flip it all?
I try. Like I said, it's like I have that little, what is it, an Ozark Trail bait caster that I put on that Bill Dance rod that I have. I'll sit there and I'll flip stuff out, and I'm still practicing really with the bait caster.
Just practicing. Practice, just keep practicing. You know, that first Quantum my wife bought me, we lived in,
Let's say, let's turn this a little so everyone can still hear you.
whoa, nice catch. When my wife and I first got together, we lived in Holiday Apartments.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a grass field out in the middle that I used to go out there with a full spool and come back in with an empty spool, you know, learning to cast that thing.
Yeah.
And I went to a few spools before I got it down, and the first time I hit the water, everything worked like magic. So just go out in your yard and practice.
Well, that's why I practice with like a little quarter-ounce weight.
Yeah.
Just sit there and
Yeah.
cast it out. Try not to get myself a little bird's nest.
Backlash. Yeah. Now, there is an art to adjusting those. So just look it up for your particular reel.
Mm-hmm.
Go online. It's really easy to adjust.
Well, I've set my brake and everything, so I got it kind of
Nice.
down, but it's like if I swing it a little too hard, it's yeah.
Yep. I still get those. That's why I buy the 1,000-yard spools of the line, because I get tired of buying the little spools and having the leftover line on them. So I buy my Seaguar by 1,000-yard roll. And I just respooled 3 yesterday. And that was from bad backlashes.
That's
I
funny.
hate the backlashes. I'm horrible at picking them out, so I'll just rip it out.
I don't know. That's why. And it's like I had braid on mine, so I was just like, oh man, this stuff is even harder to get out.
You know, I don't have too much problem with the Daiwa J braid. It's silky smooth. The color lasts quite a while, but like yesterday when I spooled up my new J braid on my swim bait rod, as you're reeling it in, I always have my finger on the line for tension. Fingers are still green afterwards, and the dye shouldn't come off quite that easily. But here's a tip for you about your fluoro and your mono. After you spool it up, your new line on your reel, boil water in a microwave, pour that boiling water right on that line. It takes the memory out of your line, and it's easier and smoother casting. You won't get as many backlashes or loops.
I've seen a lot of that, or I see where they throw the whole spool in and they reel it on with it being hot.
I've never done that. Never done that. I always pour it right on. You know, some people could say, well, it'd be better on the spool so you're not getting the water on your reel. I clean my I clean my lues by dunking them in water. So I don't worry about it too much.
Grease good, and the grease is a good. What is it? Has a good water repellency.
Yeah, I left the river last week and hit a mud hole and it splashed water all over my rods and reels, and I just dunked them in the river and they cleaned right up. Functioned great. That's what I love about my lues. And they have great customer service too. I've called them on 3 occasions needing parts, and only one time I had to pay, and it was minute. It was like $20. But I needed some parts on 2 other occasions, and they sent them for free to me instead of charging.
Yeah.
So their customer service is definitely something to speak about, and that's why I stick with that brand.
Oh, that's cool. It's like I know my nephew. He has a couple lose reels and stuff, and so far I think he loves those. He was using those this past weekend.
Yeah.
That's when he got that carp on. And it came up, and it was just like, it was there, and it turned a certain way and just spit the hook.
That's strange. That's really weird. Yeah, you want to come over and watch me make bait sometime, you're more than welcome to. Today's Tuesday. Yeah, Mondays and Tuesdays I'm usually out here. Sometimes on the weekends during the day. Want to watch me make baits, man? Come on by sometime.
Yeah, I don't live too far away.
Right on. This has been fun.
Me.
I appreciate you coming over.
No, yeah, and, well, that's really about it. Other than that, we'll shoot some plugs right now for anything else that you want to plug besides yourself.
Mike Ironwood Custom Rods. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna plug 928 Flathead Boys,
Nice.
and then also the shirt that I'm wearing, Patriot Gear.
Nice.
I got a code for them if you guys want to use that. It's I believe it's 2side10. You get 10% off. Really good company. Share a lot of good American values, and yeah, that's really about it. And
It's a clean hat you're wearing from them too.
yep, a lot of cool gear that they sell, and just their mission is awesome. And yeah, that's really about it. And good talking to you.
Good talking to you, Ralph.
Yeah.
It's been a damn fun time.
And that's about it. Here we go. Let's see. Hopefully I push the right button.
What? We have to redo it all?